Alright, hello, I am back. It has been a while. I have not sat in front of this mic for a while and done a video. I have streamed, I have not done a video. As you can guess from everything, oh god, that's the same intro that I used for the other one. As you can guess from everything, we are back on the F1 talk. Today we are doing the reaction. Not reaction, I'm not reacting to it, but I'm like, I've got a whole Word document up of what I predicted and the actual results, and I'm just going to be going through it sort of thing. I guess I start with constructors because that's what I started with on the actual video, and it doesn't start well. um, I may have predicted Haas to finish last. That seemed like a smart thing at the time, but yeah, they sort of finished 7th as a constructor. I mean, say that like we just like remove everything that happened after Austria and then maybe put in Qatar, I could have been a bit accurate, but that didn't happen, so that's fun. Yeah, so I'm sort of already down on that. But it does get better, I promise, because in 9th I predicted Williams, and in 9th finished Williams. I'm proud of myself on that front. Although in the actual drivers one I did actually say that some of the drivers would finish better, which I'll get to soon. But, yeah. I mean, I think I put the team being weighed down to Logan Sargent, and I mean, they were. But also, Albon did a lot worse than what I was thinking. But yeah, altogether, Williams finished 9th. I predicted 9th, so yippee to me, pat on the back. In 8th, I said Sauber. And, well, I mean, no comment. Got on 58-second pit stop, yeah. 7th place, I put not Red Bull, Racing Bulls. And they finished 8th. So, I was only one off, and I will take that as a win. I feel like if I'm one off on anything, that just means that I win. If I'm bang on, you know what, point system. If I'm bang on, 2 points. If I'm one off, 1 point. If I'm 2 or more off, 0. I'd like to see how I do now. Now that we got that out the way, so in 7th was Ace and Bulls, I actually finished 8th. If I'm 1 off, that's a point to me. I was also bang on Williams, that's 2 points. Haas was finished 3 places above where I put him, so that's 0, so I'm on 3 points out of 3. That's not bad. No. 3 points out of 4, because Sauber was 2 off. Okay. I mean, it gets better. Because in 6th place I said Alpine. The best of the midfield. The French people. And, well, they finished 6th, so 2 points. Yippee. Gryffindor's going to be treated tonight. Same story goes for Aston Martin. I put them to finish 5th, and they finished 5th. I feel like this midfield was pretty easy to predict. Apart from the fact that Haas randomly became a midfield team, and Racing Bulls was no longer a midfield team. That bit was hard. In 4th place, and keeping up with the points, was Mercedes, which is where I predicted them. That's another 2 points. That is now 9 points already. Damn. 9 whole points. It didn't go very well from there though, because to be fair, looking back on the results, how did Mercedes only get P4? Like, they got, what, 5? No, 4 wins? That's pretty damn good, considering how bad they were last season and the season before that. That's like, that's literally the most wins they've had in this new era. So, I mean, you can probably still complain about it, especially when you consider how many wins Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren got. Speaking of them three teams, Red Bull did. I put them to win the constructors, and they came P3. I've forgotten which tape I'm supposed to read. So anyway, Red Bull won it. Spoiler. But they didn't actually, because they finished third. Thank you, Sergio Perez. I'm pretty sure in the actual video I said Perez will do better, but ciao adios, I guess, to him. On to P2, and P2 is 2 points, Scuderia Ferrari. I got that one right. What's my prize? I've now scored 11 points. McLaren won the championship. I put them to finish third. That's +2. Red Bull was -2. That's 0 points from them two teams. But Ferrari I got correct. I'm pretty proud of that. Mercedes I got right. Aston Martin I got right. Alpine I got right. I feel like those three were pretty easy. Haas screwed me over. Sauber screwed me over. Racing Bulls. Oh, that's a tough one to comment on, because if they stuck with Ricardo, would have got that one correct. Oh, we will never know. And of course Williams we got right. Thank you, Alexander Albon. You are forever my Asian Jesus. On to the driver constructors. Now this is where it gets a little bit messy. Especially at the bottom, and like, once again, I got screwed over by Haas. I put him last in the constructors. I put Kevin Magnussen to finish last. Oh wait. Quick disclaimer first. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. I saw I'm sort of cheating on the Drivers' Championship. If a driver got replaced for any race, I'm combining the points of those drivers. Because I was never going to predict Bearman, Colapinto, and Doohan to race. Maybe Lawson. Lawson would have probably been the easiest guess. But Bearman, Colapinto and Doohan, I would have never to even assume they'd ever touch an F1 car for the next like 3 years. Okay, maybe Bearman and Doohan, but Colapinto, where did he come from? And now he's gone. Oh. So basically, in Abu Dhabi, Ocon was replaced by Doohan. Doohan didn't actually score any points in that race, but if he did, those points would be added to Ocon's tally. Colapinto replaced Sargent in Monza to the end of the season, so all the points Colapinto scored got added to Sargent's tally. Bearman for Sainz in Saudi Arabia, and also for Magnussen in Baku and Brazil. The points he scored in Saudi Arabia will be added to Sainz's tally, and the points he scored in Baku and Brazil, I think he did score points in Baku, he didn't in Brazil. But those points will be added to Magnussen, and then Lawson replacing Ricciardo. All the points Lawson scored will be going to Ricciardo's tally, which I have included on my table, so that should make it a little bit easier to read. So anyway, in 20th place, I put Kevin Magnussen, and no, Bearman did not help him much on this. Well, I mean, he sort of did, but I'll get to that when I do. Because he actually finished 15th. Which, to be honest, I'm surprised it's that low. I thought when Haas brought their upgrades in, I think it was Austria, I thought they were going to do really well. It could have been Canada, actually. I can't remember. But when they brought in the upgrades, I was never going to predict that when they partnered with Toyota and I don't actually know if Toyota did anything this season, but if they did, then they definitely helped them somewhat in the Americas. Because they are on fire in like Mexico and Vegas, I think. I'm gonna be honest, I'm struggling to remember the results as we speak. Brazil, they didn't do well. One crashed and the other one got disqualified, so RIP Haas, and shout out to LA family. Anyway, on to P19. Oh, by the way, +5 points. Magnussen got 5 places above where I predicted him, so that's 0 points. P19 was Logan Sargent. And damn. Okay. This is where the replacement driver effect comes in, because Colapinto has saved the American. Because when you add the points together, with, I mean, 0 add like 5. I think I could get a 2-year-old to do that maths. He finishes P18. So, it's only +1. I will take the fault on that one. But, I mean, I got a point, so I'll take it. However, I will not get a point for this, because Nico Hulkenberg, I put for P18. Nico Hulkenberg finished 11th in the championship. That man was on crack. He's the one that was doing bits everywhere. He's also the one that got disqualified in Brazil, but will move. He was on fire at every single track since the upgrades in Canada, or Austria, or something. Like, apart from, what, Monaco? Every single race was a good race for him. And I'm glad that he's staying in F1, I think. Is he? Yes, he's joining Sauber for the Audi project, because he's German and they want German branding. So they're going to replace Nico Hulkenberg halfway through the season with Sebastian Vettel. I'm not making that prediction, but I mean, he's what, like 35 now? How old's Nico Hulkenberg? I don't know how old Nico Hulkenberg is. He's like 30 or something. He's like top 4 drivers, the top 4 oldest driver on the grid. Top 2 being Alonso and Hamilton. And then it's, I think, Sergio Perez and Nico Hulkenberg. I could be wrong in that. But yeah, I think it's time for him to go. But he did it on a high, because P11, I wasn't expecting that, even if I was told that they were going to get massive upgrades. That is huge for him. He finished 7 places above where I put him. Jesus Christ. P17, I put Guan Yu Zhou. Yeah, it's starting to go bad again. I might just retire here. He finished P19. It would have been P20, I think, if he didn't do what he did in Qatar, or if Valtteri scored the points instead. I think Valtteri was ahead of him before Zhou scored the points in the championship. I think Bottas had a better average position, and I think that's the reason why he was ahead of Zhou, and then Zhou went and scored points and went ahead of him by 4, which was below Colapinto's 5. Anyway. So yeah, he finished 2 places below where I predicted him, so I don't get any points for that. I'm only on 1 point for the WDC. P16, I said Alexander Albon, and once again, I'm only getting 1 point. He actually finished P17. That's hurtful. I thought he was top quality. He was getting like Q3 nearly every race, and if it wasn't him, it would be, what, Stroll? I'm sorry, who? The like 2 times the Bottas got in Q3. But no, Albon was consistent. He was just like P12 every race, and have to go on the DNFs whether he would actually finish. I think he scored points in Belgium because of George Russell being shot in the back of the head. All because he asks any milk is fine at a Starbucks whilst wearing ankle socks. It hurts. Anyway, I don't want that man on my grid. Anyway, Albon finished P17. I said he'd be P16. That's another point. I'm on 2 points in this bottom 5. Q1 seems very good at the moment. Uh-oh. P15, I put Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas finished the championship in last. Even if I didn't do the point combination thing and put Colapinto, Lawson, Bearman and Doohan in their own category, Bottas still finishes last. And I'm going to be honest, that is the literal only reason why I said for Valtteri Bottas to do the point combination, is just so I can save myself a little bit of embarrassment on Bottas. Because, ouch. He's a good driver. I'm glad he's back at Mercedes. I hope he can find some form again. Q2 hasn't gone well so far. P14 is... I put Yuki Tsunoda. I thought he was not going to do well at all. I thought... I thought it was over. I'm pretty sure in the actual prediction I said Daniel Ricciardo is going to be replacing Checo, and Yuki Tsunoda is going to be under a lot of pressure and buckle a lot and crash and die and go into the Monaco harbour or something like that. I can't remember. So yeah, that's not so good. Ouch. I was only 2 positions off though. He finished P12. No. He finished P12. He did better than I thought. I thought he wasn't going to do so. I didn't think he was going to do so good. I put P14, that's only 2 places off. I'm not scoring any points for that, but I don't care. P13, I put Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon finished P14 and combined with Jack Doohan, who scored 0. Esteban Ocon, of course, he was on fire. I mean, he came second in Brazil. That overtake finally worked out for him on Max Verstappen, huh? I'm just joking. Don't bring 2017 back into my head, I don't like it. Was it P? It was 2018. He finally overtook and got P2. It worked. No, he actually got overtaken by Max. It worked for Max this time. Where am I? I've lost myself. P12. Pierre Gasly. Oh yeah, by the way, I scored a point on Ocon. But P12 is Pierre Gasly. Now, if you want to talk about a driver on fire, Pierre Gasly, get him back in that Red Bull seat, make him replace Liam Lawson. In the process, let him shoot Yuki Tsunoda. I'm sorry I keep on bringing up shooting drivers, but they deserve it half the time. Plus, that's what Red Bull will probably do. He is on fire at the moment. He probably won't even want to go back to Red Bull. They hurt him too much. Let him go to, I don't know. Can't say McLaren because Bortoletto's coming. Can't say Ferrari because of Bearman. Let him replace George Russell at Mercedes. And let him shoot George Russell instead. Please. I'm sorry. P11, I put Lance Stroll. I can't remember what I said for him in the actual video, but I probably said somewhere about it being in Alonso's contract to let him through a lot more, and then he'll score more points. If they finish like 9 and 10, they'll make Lance be the P9 and Fernando be the P10, when in reality they were not even competing for points half the time because that car was really slow. And then Adrian Newey came through the door. I cannot wait for next year. It's going to be so fun. Oh, I can't wait to make that video. How the hell am I going to predict 6 rookies? A whole different looking Aston Martin. A Lewis Hamilton Ferrari. Where am I going to put Liam in that Red Bull? How the hell am I going to know where they're going to finish? Kimi Antonelli I'm happy for, but where am I going to predict it? I'm scared for that. Anyway, I'm going off on a big tangent for the next season. Lance Stroll I said to finish P11, he actually finished P13. I was 2 places off, so just like Pierre Gasly, I won't score any points because of 2 positions. And that is the end of Q2. I've scored 2 points in Q1 and 1 point in Q2. Thanks to Esteban Ocon finishing P14 and I put in P13. It's gonna get better, I promise. On to the top 10. Now, I may have lied. It won't get better. Daniel Ricciardo, I put to finish from P10. Like I said, I thought he'd go on a massive high. I mean, he did really well coming back to AlphaTauri at the time. I mean, he finished like what, P4 in Mexico. He stayed on fire in what race was it? Brazil. Vegas. I think he might have finished top 10 there as well. He was on fire everywhere. He was loving life, and then he came into this season, and he looked like 2022 Ricciardo at McLaren again. It was depressing. It was hurtful. And eventually, after taking the fastest lap off Lando Norris, it was over. And as a man who didn't start watching F1 until his Red Bull days were over, I started watching F1 when he was at Renault. I don't really like. I never got to experience the hype behind him. I still understand what he's done for the sport, obviously. But I think I also understand when it's time to end. I'm not fangirling over the Aussie. I'm happy we're getting new rookies on the grid. I mean, I'm not saying I'm happy that Ricciardo's going. Ricciardo's a great character to have on the grid. I'm just glad we're getting some older people off the grid. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo's first race was what, 2012, 2013, something like that, with HRT. It's crazy. And now he's gone. It's definitely going to be a hole in F1, but I mean, we have Lawson and Bearman and Kimi now. It's going to get better, I promise. God, I feel like a therapist right now. So, anyway, he finished P16 thanks with the combination of Liam Lawson. Daniel Ricciardo actually scored like 14 points, and Lawson scored 4. Take that information how you will. Okay, he's a rookie, but was firing Ricciardo the right thing. Was putting Liam straight up into Red Bull, the quickest man to ever move to a first team. Except for drivers that get straight to move into the first team from F2, like Hamilton to McLaren and Lando to McLaren and Kimi to Mercedes and Oscar to McLaren and Van Dorn to McLaren. God, there's a lot of McLaren drivers that get to move straight away. Unfortunately, Bortoletto will not be one of them. On to P9, it starts to get better, I promise. George Russell. God, I hate his guts. He got 2 wins. Well done. Vegas is a hard race to win at. Trust me, I know. He should have won at Belgium, but it's happy that Hamilton got a win at least, I guess. It must hurt a little bit. God, that must have not been a good day at Brackley. Yeah, come both the drivers just come into the HQ for a second, yeah. George. Where's your P1 trophy at Belgium? Now, I'm going to have to ask this nicely, and we're only going to ask once. Can you please give it to Mr. Hamilton? Sorry, Sir Hamilton. Because you got disqualified. I'm sorry I had to tell you like this. But that trophy isn't yours. So, yeah. I mean, he still did better. He got P6. I wouldn't have predicted George Russell to get a win. Ever. I think I actually did go through the predictions on who I thought would get a win. I said 4 drivers would get a win this season. I was actually pretty good on that. And I got one of the drivers that wouldn't get a win. I'll get onto that talk when I get to that area. But George Russell finished in P6. I said he'd finish P9. That's 3 positions off. I'm still not scoring a point. Here's where the points come in though. P8, Fernando Alonso, who actually finished P9. That is a point to me. Yippee. I mean, there's not much to talk about Fernando. He's like the best driver that isn't in a top 4 team. He will also probably be a top 4 team next year. If that either means Red Bull's going to fall off a cliff, or Mercedes is going to struggle without their star boy, or Ferrari's going to struggle adapting to the Starboy, or Lando and Oscar go through a Nico Rosberg and Starboy era. I will be continuing to call the man Starboy. With Fernando Alonso, I said P8. He actually finished P9. P7, I put the Starboy, Lewis Hamilton. And Lewis Hamilton finished P7. That's 2 points. I told you it'd get better. I got my first correct position. It just took 13 places. Oh god, I'm terrible at my F1 knowledge. I mean, to be fair, I did pretty well in the constructors. I probably wouldn't have predicted he got a win either, ever. If you told me Mercedes randomly brought upgrades to a couple of races, and then they did insane, I would have said, oh, that's good for them, they got a couple more podiums, yay. Oh, a P2, that does sound really good. What race did it bring the upgrades at? Ah, he could even get on the podium at Silverstone again, good for Lewis, you know. Or even good for George, that would be good for him too. Finally gave him a home podium. Did George ever get a home podium? I don't think no, he didn't. George still has not finished on the podium at his home race, haha. And then to get a win in Belgium, that was a little bit more scumbaggy, but oh well, you can't really complain, can you? We broke a record that day, so Lewis Hamilton finished P7. I said he'd finish P7. That's 2 points. That gives me 3 points in Q3 so far. And 6 points overall. 2 points off Hamilton, 1 off Alonso, 1 off Ocon, 1 off Albon, and 1 off Sargent. And it continues that way. Oscar Piastri, I said, would finish P6. He actually finished P5. I get a point for being 1 off. Look at me go. I think, yeah, I said Oscar Piastri would win a race this season. I went through the fact how he was really quick in his rookie season. I went through the fact that he won the Qatar sprint last season in the sprint race when Max won his third championship. So, you know, good job to him. I mean, I didn't think he'd get the top 5, but well done. You also got 3 wins. Hungary, wait, was it 3 wins? Hungary, Baku. It was only 2. Okay, he only won 2 races. Please check me on that one. But I still did pretty well. He was consistently on the podium. When McLaren found their force at Miami, he was just on fire from there. I don't think he actually scored a podium in Miami. But from there, he was pretty sick. P5, I put Sergio Perez. This was the man that I said wouldn't win a race. And I was right. He would struggle to score a single point at most races. He actually finished P8. I do not score a point off Perez. 3 positions off. Ouch, it hurts to see. I mean, if there's one race where I actually got upset for Perez, it has to be Baku. I mean, he was literally running a podium and then him and Sainz just Allahu Akbar into the barrier. And it genuinely did hurt me a little to know that that was probably the race where it confirmed he was going to lose his seat. That was his last sort of chance to score some major points, and then from there, I knew straight away as soon as I saw him crash, it was like, he's going to lose confidence again. He actually likes street circuits. He only has Singapore left, but Red Bull aren't good at Singapore. So that's just gonna hurt him a lot. And then the other sprint race is Vegas, but by then I think the championship will be wrapped, which it pretty much was, especially for Perez. Yeah, so in the end, yeah, I did think he'd score a couple of podiums. I did say Red Bull would get a lot of 1-2s, but he would never be the number one. I think I was right on that. I think they did get like 3 1-2s at the start of the season, and all 3 of them was Max winning and Perez coming second. And then it was, yeah, he just fell off a cliff. I don't know what happened to him. P4, I put Carlos Sainz. Now this is where I had to pull some maths out. Carlos Sainz actually finished P5. But, thanks to my incredible skill of Mathematicas, Carlos Sainz actually finished P4. Because with the addition of Bearman's points in Saudi Arabia, and the fact that Carlos was close enough to Oscar Piastri in the championship, Carlos actually overtakes Piastri in the championship, thanks to Bearman. If only that actually counted. Maybe Ferrari could have won the championship. Who knows? Oh no, wait, Bearman's points would have been counted anyway. So they still would have finished P2. Whoops. Oh well. Okay, here's a better way to put it. If Carlos Sainz never had appendicitis, maybe Carlos could have got a podium that day. And with that, Ferrari could have won the championship. But they didn't. Because Bearman had to replace their drivers for one race. And then it got worse at Canada when Ferrari had a double DNF. And then I thought my prediction was on when I saw Carlos and Charles take a double 1-2. First with Charles winning in Cota, Carlos P2, and then Carlos winning in Mexico, Charles P2. I thought I was cooking. Turns out it was spelled with a U and a C, not an O and a O. It isn't a double O, it's a U and a C. Cheers, Carlos. Well, it counts anyway because cheers to Bearman. I still managed to get the P4. Yippee. On to the top 3. Now, in the video... Oh yeah, by the way, 2 points for that. I said Carlos finished P4, thanks to adding Bearman, I get 2 points because he finished P4. On to the top 3. Now I said the top 3 would be in a championship fight together, but it won't go down to the final 3 races. I don't actually think I said final 3 races, but I definitely said it's going to end early. It's not going to be like 2021 or 2016 or 2008 or anything like that. It's not going to go down to the final race. It's not going to be all dramatic. There's no going to be no Toto Wolff crying over the radio saying, "No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right." No, it would end early. It did end early. It was won in Vegas. There was still Qatar and Abu Dhabi to go. But I did say both Charles, Lando and Max would all be in the shout for the championship. But I was adamant on Leclerc finishing P3, and he did finish P3. I think that's very obvious. But at one point, I think it was them 3 all within a chance to win it. And then Charles dropped it in Mexico. No. Charles lost the chance to win the championship in Brazil, and then Lando lost it the next race at Vegas, when Max confirmed it. But that is another 2 points. I'm being consistent. Second place. Now this was a really tough decision for me. Because, I mean, I had to pick a side. Ever since I started watching F1, I was a Max fan. But also when I started watching F1, Lando was the biggest loved guy in the world. And I think the best part about it was the fact that both Lando Norris and Max Verstappen had an amazing relationship together. I mean, Max is literally having a child with Lando Norris at the moment. Good for him. But I had to pick a side, and I'm glad I went with the side I went with, because what I didn't realise is when drivers get into a championship fight together, you start to lose love for one of them, and yeah, that happened. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's just luck and skill. That's why you finished P2 in the championship. Lando Norris, I put you to finish P2 in the championship, and you finished P2 in the championship. Lando Norris, thank you for the 2 points. See you next year, where you probably will win it. Yeah, that's probably going to be the easiest prediction of that. Yeah, can I stop going on about next season? Which means the world champion of 2024, I predicted, would be Max Verstappen. And Max Verstappen is now a 4-time world champion. So, that's another 2 points. Which means in total, I scored 15 points out of a possible 40. Now, okay, right, that sounds terrible. Not even 50%. But to be fair, Hamilton I got in the right place. Carlos, Leclerc, Norris and Verstappen I all got in the right place. The top 4 I literally got correct. Pretty much thanks to Bearman. And I mean I got both Williams 1 off. Ocon I got 1 off, and Alonso and Piastri I both got 1 off. That was amazing. But then you start to dig a little bit deeper and you see Ricciardo -6, Hulkenberg +7, Magnussen +5, Bottas -5, and then yeah, you start to fall off a little bit. But in the end, I'm counting that as a dub. I think 15 points is really good. I think getting the top 4 completely correct is pretty good. So yeah. In the end, I score 15 points out of a possible 40 in the WDC. And in the WCC, I still think I did pretty well on this. I mean, Williams bang on, Alpine bang on, Aston Martin bang on, Mercedes bang on, and Ferrari bang on, and then 1 off on RB, giving me 11 out of 20. That's over 50%. Where's my medal, huh? So yeah, in the end, I think I did really good on that. I'm glad I made it a little bit easier by implementing the add Bearman and Sainz, add Bearman and Magnussen, add Doohan and Ocon, add Lawson and Ricciardo, and add Colpin and Sargent together. That saved me a little bit. I mean, maybe if I removed Bearman, Magnussen would have been P20, who knows? Anyone with half a brain cell, because, yeah, I mean, he scored like 40 points and Bottas scored 0. Bearman didn't really help in that fight. Oh, actually, I read it in the notes. Right, sorry, big tangent. Bearman and Magnussen added together tie them with Ocon. And Doohan didn't score any points, which means they stayed tied on points. But Ocon finishes ahead because he finished in a higher position and a higher average position thanks to his P2 in Brazil. And also, in another note, combination of Lawson and Ricciardo, who ended up finishing P16, overtook Albon. So Albon was originally P16, Ricciardo went up to P16 instead. And then he tied with Magnussen, but then Magnussen was added to Bearman, which made them go ahead of Ricciardo and off of the tie. But then they didn't put them on the tie with Ocon, but then Ocon finished ahead because they got a higher, better position. So yeah, that is it. That is over. I did pretty well, and I'm happy with myself. Well done to me. I'm gonna go eat some chocolate now. Have fun watching the rest of the race for the background, and I hope I win. Goodbye, and love you all. Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Here's the checkered flag, and here's our winner today. Hats off to Ollie Bearman.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Akbar!